Hello everyone and welcome for this new tutorial series. This tutorial series will be on Niagara. Niagara is the Unreal Visual Effects system and there is a lot of stuff to cover, so we will start this first video by going into the Niagara system and we will see all the different nodes that we can use because it's very different from Blueprint. So we'll go and check all the different nodes and then we will create a small effect, nothing too fancy. We want to use some of the nodes to see how they look. And so we'll go to Unreal and we'll start this first video on the basic of Niagara system. Okay, so we are in our landscape tutorial project and we will start creating a new Niagara system. First we'll create a folder. We'll call the folder Niagara, and in this folder we'll create a new one. It will be our first Niagara system. Now we'll right click and we'll go into the FX. And into the FX, we have the Niagara emitter. We'll create first an emitter. It will ask if you want to create a new emitter. You can see that there is already some emitter that exists that we can copy on. But us, to see the basic, we will go into the empty template. We'll call this NS for Niagara system. We'll call this first Niagara system. So we can now double click to open it. And when we open it, we can see that we have our Niagara system in here. We can see that we have here a timeline is the timeline for our VFX. We leave it at 0. And now we have different stuff. So we have our system. So we'll go through each of the properties. The first is called properties. In here we can choose if you want to simulate from the CPU or from the GPU. We use the GPU compute sim only when we have a lot of particles. And the GPU compute sim cannot work with collision, so we have to be careful. If you want a lot of particles, you have to use the GPU, but if you want to have some collision, you will need to use the CPU simulator. If we use the GPU, it will give us a warning that we are using the dynamic calculate bound, but it cannot work with the GPU, so we have to choose the fixed bound. That's the only thing you need to know if you want to use the GPU. Then you can create a lot of particles. Just be careful with the performance. So we'll go back into dynamic and into the CPU simulator. In here we have a lot of different options. We're not gonna go too deep into each of them. For example, the require persistent ID, you can use it when you need to create an event from one particle and send information to another particle. You will need this persistent ID. But we will see that in another video when we will go into more advanced stuff into Niagara. Now we have the summary, we don't really care. And then we have 5 different selectors. We have emitter spawn, emitter update, particle spawn, particle update, and the render. To make it simple, the emitter spawn will be when the Niagara system is spawned on the level. So when the Niagara system is spawned into the level, everything that is in the emitter spawn will be triggered. It will be like a beginning play that you can use into the blueprint. Then we have the emitter update. So it will be like the event tick that you can have into the blueprint. So we can do stuff, we can spawn some particle because we will have the emitter and the emitter will spawn the particle. The spawning of the particle will be made into the emitter update. Then we have the particle spawn. So this will be the beginning play of the particle. So we will create, for example, one particle. And when the particle is created, everything in there will be triggered. So it will be, for example, the color of the particle, the size of the particle, some stuff like that we want to set up at the beginning of the particle life. And then we have the particle update, which will be called every frame per particle. So for each particle, this will be triggered and we can, for example, move the particle or kill it or change the color over time. We can do a lot of different stuff. And then we have the render, which will be in here the sprite renderer, where we can choose the material that we want to use to render our particle. Okay, so I will reopen them. So we can use this little plus to add a module to the group. And for example, if I go into the emitter update, I can spawn some particles. So there is different spawn that we can use. We'll use the spawn rate, which will spawn particle continuously at a particular rate. If I do that, I can actually choose the number of particles I want to spawn. So when I add here a module, it will be shown in here, and each of the module will be played from top to bottom. We will need to be careful into the particle update and the particle spawn. Sometimes the place of each of the module is important. So you have to be careful. So if I choose a spawn rate of 1 and I actually press play, we can see our little particle in here showing. So I have one particle. So this little particle, when I will stop the timeline, when this particle is spawned, now this will be triggered. So we will give some properties to this particle. For example, in here we have the lifetime, which is 5, so it will be alive for 5 seconds. When this time is done, after the 5 seconds, the particle will disappear. And there is the lifetime mode that we can change also. We can choose random, and then we can random between different lifetimes. So we'll do something like 0.5 and 1.5. Then we can also set the color. For now we'll do a direct set. And for example, make it red. You can increase the brightness of this particle by using the V in here. For example, if I put 15, you can see that it's more bright. Let's get something like that. We have different types of stuff that we can render. We have first the sprite, like we are using the sprite renderer, but we can also use all of these different renderers. Most of the time we use the sprite or the mesh renderer or the ribbon renderer. Ribbon is a little bit special, so we will see that on another video. But the mesh, as the name implies, will render a mesh. So for example, if I show this, I can choose a mesh. For example, I could spawn this rock, preparing the shader, but I could actually spawn a rock and make it move, for example. So when we change the renderer into the initialized particle, we have different attributes that we can set. There is the sprite attribute when we use the sprite renderer. We have the mesh attribute when we use the mesh renderer, and the ribbon attribute when we use the ribbon renderer. That's very important. If you change the scale of the mesh in here when you have a sprite renderer, it will not work. You will have to set the sprite size mode. So I would like to make a random uniform size of the sprite, maybe something like 1 to 1.5. So you can see we have a very, very small particle. I'm gonna spawn more particle. When we have an input like that, this is a float, but we can change which number we want into the spawn rate. You can do a random range float. We could use a curve. We'll do a random range float. Do 100 to 150. Now we have a lot of small particles spawning, and we will give them a shape. Go to shape location. You can see now you have a lot of small particles spawning. They spawn with their own lifetime, with their own different size, as it is into the initialized particle. So each of the particle will have his own attribute. Into the shape location, I could change this to cylinder, for example. We can do as we want. I will reduce the radius of the sphere. Maybe something like 35. Here's my little sphere with all of my particles. Now if we go into the particle spawn, we have a lot of different nodes that we can use. There is a lot of nodes, so we cannot go obviously on all of them. You will see some of the nodes that I always use, which are the more common. For example, we have the add velocity. Sometimes when you add a node, you will see there is an error. And most of the time, we can just click on fix issue and it will fix the issue. For example, this module, when we use the add velocity into the particle spawn, we need to add into the particle update the module solve force and velocity. So we'll click on fix issue, and now we have the solve force and velocity in here, and the add velocity now is working. I'm actually adding a velocity of 50 into the z-axis, so all of my particles are going up. That's pretty cool. I could actually reduce the sphere size to something like that. So that's already pretty cool. Now we can go into the particle update, and we can use this particle update to change some properties into a particle. And for example, we could add some drag. If I add some drag, it will be more difficult for the particle to go up because there will be some drag to stop him from moving. Or I could also make some gravity. I can add some gravity. So we need to increase my velocity up, for example, to 150. Maybe I reduce this to -500. And you can see that the particle now is going up, and then the gravity gets to the particle and the particle go down. I would like to change the shape to a cone. I will change this cone angle to something like 45 and this 150. Okay, maybe gonna put one in here. When you work on Niagara VFX, you will be tweaking a lot of properties to see how it looks, if it's good enough for you. I'm doing some random stuff just to show you how it works. And now if I go and I place my Niagara system into the world, I thought this was a Niagara system, but it's not a Niagara system, it's a Niagara emitter. So I cannot place a Niagara emitter into the world. I can place the Niagara system, and the Niagara system is gonna use some emitter. So we'll right click from this Niagara emitter and we will create a Niagara system, and we'll call this, we're gonna change this to NE for Niagara emitter to be our first Niagara emitter, and here we have our Niagara system. And if I open this Niagara system, you have this little node, which is the actual actor of the Niagara system, and this Niagara system is using this Niagara emitter, which is the emitter that we have created. Now if I place my Niagara system into the world, we can see, if I launch the game, we have some particle going up and then falling. One thing that we can see is that our particle in here, they are like going through the floor. They are not disappearing when they touch the floor. I would like to do that. To do that, we need to use the collision. So if I go into my Niagara system, in the particle update, I can add some collision. Use this collision. We can see that the particles are actually bouncing. If I increase their lifetime, something like 3 to 5. You can see all the little particles, they are bouncing onto the floor. So our collision is working. And see, if I move my Niagara system, my particles, they stay where they are and they are just falling. That's pretty cool. Now I don't want them to bounce. Maybe I will leave it like that, it's nice. But if I would like to make them die, I will need to use a new particle update, which is the kill particle, and I will use this with the collision. Okay, so for this kill particle, when we set it to true, our particle will die. So we need to set this boolean. And to set this boolean, we will need to use some parameter. This is a little bit advanced, but then you will have everything that you need to know to create some Niagara system, some basic Niagara system. But we can see on the left, I didn't talk about this. This is some parameter. We have some parameter group. For this is system. So from the system, we can find the age and current loop delay and stuff like that. We have some attribute into the emitter. You have the emitter age, the emitter local space, and so on and so on. And we have the particle attribute. For us, we added a collision in here onto the particle. So into the particle attribute, we can find into the particle then collision, we can see a lot of different parameters that our collision is actually using. To show which parameter the collision is writing on, we can go into the view in here and select the show parameter write. And if I go down, in here I have the parameter write, I can open it, and now we can see a lot of stuff, a lot of output that this module is writing on. And for us, we need something, we need a boolean. For example, this particle has collided, looks pretty good. Let's see if there is something other, maybe the as collided will work. We have the collision valid, which look pretty good too, but we will go with the as collided. I'm gonna unshow this parameter right. And now if I go into the kill particle, in here I need to set this by using the as collided from the particle. So I will go in here and I will use the link inputs into the particle, and we can find the particle as collided, which is a boolean. If I use it now, my kill particle will be using this boolean as collided, and if I save and I go back into my level, we can see that when my particle collides with something, it will die. For example, if I bring my wolf onto the particle system, under the wolf, we can see that there is no particle going through the wolf because the particle touched the wolf and then they get killed. That's how we use the collision. If I launch the game and I go myself in here, you see that all of the particles that touch me will get destroyed. My wolf is bouncing with me. So see, it's pretty cool. The Niagara system is a very, very powerful system to create a lot of VFX. We created a small VFX, but we will see in the next video how to create some, for example, fire. We can create some rain effect. We can create some fireball. We can create a lot of effects. Every effect that we want, we can create them. This is an introduction on the Niagara system. If you don't want to miss all of the other videos from this tutorial series, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you got some good information on this tutorial. If there is any VFX that you want to see, let me know in the comment section. I will make you a tutorial on it. For example, if you need a rain effect, let me know if you want a rain effect. If you want a fire effect, let me know. And so that's it for today, and we will see each other on the next video. Bye.